Hey YouTube, it's Andy Michaels again, your favorite conspiracy theorist. Nah, I'm just kidding. I wanted to do a follow-up video, sort of a follow-up video to the what will happen on September 23rd video that I'm getting a lot of views on and a lot of comments on, which I'm still not understanding why people are missing my entire point there. My point was not to make a fear-mongering clickbait video about some erroneous prediction about the end of the world or apocalypse or something of that nature. My point was to demonstrate how easily people fall for these types of videos, and obviously it's working because they're falling for it without watching the end of the video where I say, hey, just kidding. But anyway, so that kind of brought to mind times that have been predicted over the years for the end of the world, and they have failed. Of course, every one of them has failed, and they're numerous. And in this video, I'm just going to kind of breeze through just the 20th century. I can't even cover the total through the 20th century because there's so many of them. So we'll touch on the big ones anyway. And this is coming from, by the way, a website called rationalwiki.org. It looks like it's an extension of Wikipedia, but anyway, so we'll go through this list and kind of touch a little bit on these. Starting in the 20th century, 1910, Halley's Comet tail crosses the Earth, and people thought that was going to be, they were going to be gassed to death by the gas from Halley's Comet. That was in 1910. In 1914, Jehovah's Witnesses we're calling for Armageddon. No specific date on that one. There's a few of those up through another one in 1925. Let's see. 1941, Victorian scholar Edward Bishop Elliot, based on his interpretation of the Book of Revelation, he came up with this date after his earlier predictions in the 1860s were proved untrue. Another Jehovah's Witnesses Armageddon in 1975. Of course, in the mid-70s, we had David Wilkerson in the Worldwide Economic Depression. 1977, William Branham, destruction of the U.S., termination of all governments into a one world government, and the second coming of Jesus Christ. That didn't happen, obviously. 1978, Jim Jones. We've all heard the story of the Jim Jones cult, and what was that called? His little thing down there in South America. Well, Jonestown, they say Jonestown, where several people committed suicide. That was in 1978. Apparently, he thought the end of the world was coming too. Let's see, 1979 and 1980. 1979 was the year I was born. John Todd was talking about the installation of a world government ruled by the Illuminati, with Jimmy Carter as the Antichrist. Jimmy Carter as the Antichrist. That's interesting. Okay, 1980, we got good old Pat Robertson. He's been saying this stuff for God only knows how long. He said in 1980, a year of sorrow and bloodshed that will have no end soon, for the world is being torn apart and my kingdom shall rise from the ruins of it. 1981, Hal Lindsey. He's still popular in the end times rapture prophecy era. 1981, he had a pre-tribulational rapture taking place. 1982, Pat Robertson came back again with the predicting the Great Tribulation. Then if we jump to, let's see, 1988, Hal Lindsey again claimed the second coming of Jesus Christ. September 11th through 13th of 1988, Edgar Whisenant? I don't think I've ever heard that name. Edgar Whisenant, Whisenant. He predicted the second coming, which was also predicted by Colin Deal that same year. 1990, Elizabeth Clare profited or predicted a global thermonuclear war. In 1991, Louis Farrakhan, the looming Gulf War would be the War of Armageddon, which is the final war, the battle of good and evil. So he predicted that the Gulf War, the first Gulf War in 1991, was the end. 1992, let's see, Roland Stewart predicted the second coming on September 28th. And then if we jump to, let's see, 1994, good old Harold Camping. He's been throwing some stuff out for a while. Second Coming in 1994. Then we had another Jehovah's Witnesses Armageddon prediction in 1994. The Heaven's Gate, they're still around. 1997, they predicted the Earth changes in the UFO abduction coinciding with the Hale-Bopp comet. Mass suicide in the hopes of hitching a ride on those UFOs. Let's see, 1998, the Church of the Subgenius. Never heard of those. They were predicting the rapture, and every year on July 5th, they meet in reverence, certain that it will happen that year, this year. Recent writings have inverted the year to 8661, which is an invert of 1998. That's interesting. Okay, so 1999, we've got some Nostradamus predictions. 1999, also a little-known collision with Planet X. David Wilkerson was back in 1999 and 2000, predicting a worldwide economic depression. On May 5th, 2000, there was supposed to be a cataclysmic crust displacement, which was predicted by Richard Noone, Noone. And of course, you got the year 2000 in and of itself, the Y2K, collapse of civilization. Christian preachers in Papua New Guinea predicted the end. Hal Lindsey failed on this one again. Whew. And that was just a small portion of the total throughout the 20th century. I skipped over quite a few of them. And we've got a long list just in the 21st century, and then we've got ones going up to 22nd century, 29th century, 87th century, 112th century, and so on and so forth, that people are predicting future events. Just a few from this century. William Strauss and Neil Howe predicted in 2005 a crisis period in the U.S. comparable in effect to the American Revolution, Civil War, and the Great Depression, or World War II. That didn't happen. 2007, good old Hal Lindsey's back with the second coming. And then Pat Robertson, can't forget Pat Robertson. He's back again in 2007 with the Great Tribulation. Well, if he was correct, we'd been through that by now. 2008, Sarah Palin believes she is of the final generation, and we'll see the end times during her lifetime. Well, she's still alive, so. 2008 also brought in the Large Hadron Collider. Well, that wasn't the year that it came into being, I don't think. Maybe, but not sure on that. But the prediction was it'll destroy the world with creating black holes and strangelets and something similarly scary and science-y. And you can keep up to date with whether that happened or not. David Wilkerson is back in 2009, claiming an earth-shattering calamity engulfing the whole megaplex, including areas of New Jersey and Connecticut. Major cities all across America experiencing riots and blazing fires. I think we've had that already after the election of Donald Trump, wasn't it? 2011, the big one for Harold Camping. I remember that. He tried again, this the third time, predicting May 21st. To be precise, he put up billboards, and he later postponed it to October 21st, but again, nothing came of it. And he may have been able to hold on to that money that people sent, if he weren't dead now, though. Though he evidently blew a bundle on billboard advertisements, and I can imagine those things ain't cheap. Though his followers were encouraged to drain their savings for Camping's campaign funds, and many are deeply disappointed that they listened to him and they paid. I mean, that's one of the things that we can see that religion has a negative effect on society. 2011, Ronald Wineland, second coming on the 29th of September, strike one. 2012, but of course, the unnaturally failed apocalypse of December 21st, 2012. We all remember the December 21st, 2012 date, the Mayan calendar and all that nonsense. 2012, Ronald Wineland, I keep mispronouncing that, Ronald Wineland, his strike two predicted the second coming on the 27th of May. Also in 2012, last known end of the world prediction from collision with the Pleiades star cluster. On December 21st of 2012, the Eastern Lightning Cult predicted the end of the world. And that was just 2012. And then 2013, the real bad stuff starts, or something. And it seems Isaac Newton predicted it. I don't know where that comes from. Ronald Wineland back again in 2013. Second coming on the 9th of May. Strike 3, you're out, Mr. Wineland. Okay. 2014, March 21st, an asteroid. That didn't happen. Also 2014, World War III. Resurrected Nostradamus' prophecy of a fire in the north for the reference of the end of the age of the fifth sun, believed to be a specific northern region of a country. Current speculation is North Korea, as relative to the resolution of a Pope prediction. Oh, and of course the rapture, and a giant asteroid hitting the Caribbean. All supposed to have happened in 2014. Still waiting on that. Between April 2014 and October 2015, a tetrad of lunar eclipses, or better known as blood moons, will signal the start of the end times, according to a megachurch pastor, John Hagee. I do remember hearing about that. That was all going on during the 2015 when the 4 blood moons, and we had, well, now it's slipping my mind, the thing in the southwest, Jade Helm 15. Yeah, everybody was freaking out about that. There's also predicted to be a solar flare in 2015, and then, of course, September 23rd was a date in 2015 as well. Asteroid, I don't know what exactly was supposed to happen. October 7th, 2015, E-Bible Fellowship, an organization vaguely related to the late Harold Camping, is confident they've got the date right this time. Well, so much for their confidence, right? Tom Watkins in 2016, he had a vision of the Great Tribulation, claiming to have met the Beast of Revelation. Turns out the same day is the solar eclipse, though, of course, he'll mention that. I don't know about what solar eclipse took place in 2016. Obviously, it wasn't here in the United States, but Warren Jeffs, in no way due to a contemporaneous arrangement on April 6th. Then we move in. Let's move up to 2017. Maybe some stuff that we haven't gotten to yet. Well, 2017, it doesn't give a specific date, but there's supposed to be a rare constellation alignment starting the rapture. I think that's what they're talking about, September 23rd, if I'm not mistaken, which I'm pretty sure nothing's going to happen, but I think that's what they're talking about there. October of this year, the Planet X, it's back again. Planet X is going to collide with Earth. This time it's according to David Mead, some kind of, I don't know whether he works in astronomy or where he's coming from. Various Christians say will be chipped and the Great Tribulation will begin. I assume they mean chipped by microchips put and planted in your hand or something like that. I don't think that'll happen this year. Maybe. It might get big towards the end of the year, but here we're already in September, so we've only got 3-4 months left in this year. Then we go into 2018, according to this, the 24th of June of 2018, based on some middle school math. I'm not even going to try to read the name of this guy, Joseph Rodriguez, something or other, John Mark. I don't know what that's about. Hal Lindsey predicting the third second coming, 2018. The Bible guarantees May 20th, 2018. Or your money back. More asteroids in 2026. And the list goes on and on and on and on, all the way up to 2085, and then, like I said, 22nd century. I'll put a link to this in the description below, but it's a huge list. This just hammers home my point that I was trying to make on my September 23rd video, that nothing is going to happen. Nothing ever happens when these predictions are made. Nobody knows the future. As many people would like to believe, they predicted things based on prophecy, based on Bible passages, based on the way the sun and the moon and the planets are lined up, or blah, 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 blah. Planet X, you name it. People think they've got this stuff figured out, and they don't. Like I said, I used to buy into it too, because it's all interesting. It's neat to look at, and it's kind of exciting in terms, of actually something, not catastrophic in the terms of, you dying from it, but some kind of a change coming to our planet is kind of exciting in a way, I guess. I don't know, maybe that's just a morbid outlook, but you know, it's just it's never gonna happen in terms of somebody predicting it ahead of time. I'm not saying that it's not possible that we could get a end of world scenario sometime. Could even be in our lifetimes, but it doesn't mean that somebody's going to be able to predict it before it happens. I mean, the people in history that have predicted things were very vague about their predictions, and they also got a lot of stuff wrong. So nobody knows the future. Like I said before, they even have a hard time trying to predict the weather a week in advance, let alone anything else. So I wouldn't get your hopes up or get scared about anything. Just live your life, live and love, and make the most of your life, and bring meaning to your life without anybody else telling you what your purpose is or what your meaning has to be. You make the meaning in your life. You know, life is short, so live it to the fullest while you're here, because you don't know what's guaranteed and what's not. I mean, let alone an afterlife being guaranteed. You don't even know if you're guaranteed tomorrow. I mean, that's the bottom line. We do things every day, you know, could potentially kill us, like getting in behind the wheel of a car. We do all that every day without a second thought. But guess what? It's one of the most dangerous ways to travel. Statistically, I mean, not saying that you're going to, you know, that you're going to die when you get in the car, but statistically speaking, it is possible, you know. And then other things like, you know, being struck by lightning. Of course, that's not as good of odds as dying in a car wreck, but there's lists of those too as far as what you're most likely to happen to you. But the bottom line is, you're not guaranteed tomorrow, so make the most of today, and don't worry about what's going to happen tomorrow, or, you know, certainly not next month or next year. I mean, nobody knows, so just don't worry about it. That's my message. You know, take it for what it is. So anyway, guys, that's going to be it for now. I do appreciate you watching and listening, and subscribe, like, share, do all those good things. You know how that goes. And I'll talk to you in the next video. Have a good one.